Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My 67 F-250 has made it back to Oklahoma. It made an awesome trip from Indiana back to Oklahoma. It's probably the first time this truck has ever left Indiana since it was built, if I had to guess. This thing is awesome. I've had some opportunity to poke around with it. I've made some discoveries. I'm going to share that with you guys, but I also thought it would be really neat to dig into the paperwork we have on this truck and see just how much Mr. Green spent to keep this thing on the road. The original owner of this truck, he kept every receipt, every record from when he bought the truck to when he parked it in 2000. So I'm going to add all those up and we're going to see how much he spent and if it was more or equal to the cost of the truck. I'm betting it's going to be more, but we're going to find out here today. So let's go dig into it. Well guys, like I said, I drug this thing back home to Oklahoma. It made the trip awesome. It came out unscathed. I've been doing a little bit of work to it. I'm doing a little bit of cleaning out and I've got the wheels freed up. So I have the back wheels freed up. I have the tires back on the wheels and I have this front left that was locked up. I have it freed up as well. It was a little bit trickier to get unlocked. You can see all the rust. All that was out of the brake drum. So it's gonna rain on us here. But I'm going to finish talking to the camera here because I want to get this video knocked out. Main thing is here under the hood, the engine is actually free. When I was in Indiana trying to get it, I was grabbing on the fan here and trying to spin it over and it was stuck and I couldn't get it to turn. I didn't even get my breaker bar out to see if it'd spin over. But since I was here, I was like, I'm going to grab the breaker bar and do it a little bit harder and see if we can get the brake free. And the water pump was actually stuck because I broke it loose and the belts were jamming up here because the water pump wouldn't want to turn. And I figured out the engine is actually free. You can see here, I'm turning it here with the fan. It's going to slip, but it does turn. I've rotated it over. So the engine is free and it would probably start if we did some work to it. And probably the points are bad in here. But, you know, the general spark plugs, points, get some fuel down the throat, and it'll probably fire off and run. So that was one thing that I figured out on the truck that I thought I would share with you guys. I haven't really done much on the interior. A little bit of cleaning out and digging, but there was just some really cool stuff in the glove box. I'll post a picture here as I'm talking about it. It's cool stuff in the glove box, but under here, nothing really too exciting to tell you about. It's really coming down now. I'm going to get under the cover here of our topper and show you the next thing I found under here. So I cleaned everything out from under this thing. He had it covered up with cardboard and newspapers and old shirts and just everything. I think he was trying to protect his topper here for when he worked on it because he had cardboard covering the beds here, and I had no idea there was these drawers under the beds. So he has these handmade wood drawers all the way through the beds. They're full of camping gear from, I'm guessing, when he built the topper. I'm not sure when that Reynolds wrap, when that was sold, but man, it looks pretty dated to me. Same thing with like this toilet paper here. That looks pretty old. And we got soap in here, Glad wrap. So we have some old stuff here, and there's more camp supplies back in here. We have some pots and pans in that one, and we have I think we have stool, a neat little stool in that one, another stool, and some Comet. Not sure what that is, but yeah, I thought that was really neat. We have this really neat topper in here. We have these mattresses that are covered in plastic, so they're nice and clean and fresh and not all dirty. We also have this area rug that I think he put out on the ground whenever he got camping. And we have nice little curtains here. We have a can opener, a light. We have a heater. So this thing is actually pretty neat. And we have these rugs here on the floor. But I wanted to show you up under the the plywood here that he has covering the floor, I got a peek at the bed floor, and it is really nice. So unfortunately, we have to take all of this out to get a look at it. So not gonna be doing that right now. And also, unfortunately, you can see where some of the rust has started to poke through the bed. There's the seam with the wheel tub where it's all poking through right there. And here's where the brace attaches to the bed. And same story over here. The brace looks good on, well, nope, we got rust there. Same thing here. So just wanted to show you that, guys. The big thing is the engine is locked, is free. So hopefully it probably doesn't need a bunch of work, but it's better than it was whenever I left off the last video. And also had some guys mention that I was calling this thing rusty, and it was rusted out, and it was really bad. And they were commenting that that truck is mint. It's not rusty at all. You should see what I have. Well, you have to remember that I'm looking at it from an aspect of full-blown restoration. So whenever you go into a truck with full-blown restoration, when it's got that much rust in the seams and in the bones of everything, it's a lot of work to repair to make it mint. So that's kind of what I was going with, the rust. So kind of give you guys an idea of why I was being so hard on this truck, because what I like to do is full-blown restorations. So anyway, I kind of changed my mind on what I want to do with this truck. I'm going to fill you guys in with that at the end of this episode. But for right now, let's go see what he spent on the receipts on this truck. Okay, here we go. So I have all the receipts here. I also have the receipts for the topper here. But I'm not going to include the topper because it's kind of like an addition. It's not maintenance items. And my main goal here was to figure out how much he spent on the truck throughout the years. So our first I'm not going to include purchasing the truck, but our first ticket, if I remember right, we had something for 67. I guess I got them out of order. They were in order. Mr. Green's probably rolling in his grave that I got them out of order. But we have receipts all the way from when it was new in 67, because he bought it in December. Is that right? November. He bought it in November of 66. So first receipt was 67. And we have all the way up to in December of 2000. He had a record call for my truck transmission went out at Horton's Hardware or something hardware in Elwood, which is where he's from. So we got a tow for $30. I am going to include this, but this would be our last receipt for 12/4/2000. And he also has his letter he wrote to insurance telling them he's not going to have, the truck's not going to be on the road. And he says for maybe a year at least. But it ended up being a lot longer than a year, unfortunately, because it sat there until I drug it out the other day and brought it back here to Oklahoma. So we're going to get after adding all these receipts up. I am going to speed the video up because it's probably going to take me hours to do this. And you guys don't want to sit here for an hour and just watch me punch numbers into the phone. So I'm going to speed it up. I might stop if I see something neat or something I haven't noticed before, or just want to show you guys something. I might slow it down and kind of give you an update in there to break up the time lapse. But we're going to get after it and just start plugging away at it, adding things up, and we'll see what we end up with. All right, guys, well, it didn't take long to get to exceed the purchase price, or not, I guess what he paid for the truck, not including trade-in. So we are to $1214 of 79, although I don't have it in order. I'm missing like the first, I don't know, not 10 years, but first like 5 years. I must have got them out of order. I'm going to try to get them back in order. But we're not very far into it, and we've already exceeded what he paid for the truck, which was $28.44 and 49 cents, and we are at $28,704. So he definitely hadn't had it very long before he exceeded the purchase price of the truck in nothing but maintenance items. So he spent a lot on this truck. Now, I guess the next milestone would be what the actual price was on the truck, because he traded in a 55 Olds for $500. So the actual out the door price without trade-in was $3386.75. So we're gonna pass that pretty quick, if I had to guess. And this is what we've done so far. So not very many receipts. And this is what we have yet to go. So I think this is going to be way more than I was expecting. I was thinking, yeah, we're definitely going to exceed the purchase price, but I didn't think it would be this quick with, you know, this short stack of receipts. Now we did have some high number of receipts in here. We had all the tires since new. He had all those receipts stapled together. So all the tires he's ever bought for the truck, those were kind of expensive, you know, 190 bucks, you know, per pair. He usually bought them at a pair. And we also had the inner fenders and outer fenders that he replaced, which that was like a $400 ticket. We had that, but we also have some transmission tickets in here that we've yet to get to. And I mean, they weren't expensive in nowadays as far as transmissions go, but back then it was a bigger ticket. I think this actually might, no, this is just brakes, and it's a $271 ticket in 79. So we're gonna get back at it and see how soon we can get past the purchase price. I probably won't stop the video. I'll show you guys the tally so you can see when it was. But we're gonna plug away at it. All right, guys, we have the tally, and it was quite surprising to me. I'll show it to you guys in a little bit. Way over my estimate, but I did leave out a couple invoices. These right here, these are actually for accidents that he got paid on someone's insurance. This one was for a marker light that somebody hit, and he got a check or settlement from the insurance company for $4.53. And here he has a diagram he wrote of the check. So that was for someone hit a marker, some marker light lens that cost $4.10, and then they charged he did labor to install it. I saw that somewhere. But yeah, they ended up giving him $4.53 for that on that insurance claim. This one is a little bit more significant. On the the other video on this truck I did when I brought it home, I mentioned that the fenders have been replaced, and then the passenger side fender is an aftermarket one. This stack of papers right here is what told me that. There's a diagram right here of him backing, or he was pulling in, and someone was backing out and backed into the passenger fender of his truck. And this is that repair with the body shop and the estimates and all of that. And he has the State Farm check right there, and for $705.14 for the repair. This was in August 31st of 98 when they paid it out. So this was 98, not long after or before the transmission went out on him. So that's why that passenger side fender looks really good. The driver's side one does look really good. It's just not quite as mint as the passenger side one. I guess that's because it was only on the road for a couple years. So, drum roll, now we are down to the total. Let me screenshot this before I screw it up and lose it. But we are $9,236.29. So I was wondering if we were going to break 10,000 there for a little bit. We got down to the end. All those CarQuest tickets, those were like $1.49, $3.27, you know, that kind of stuff. So it took a long time to do those, and the tally didn't mark up as fast. But there was a lot of them, and it really did add up. So yeah, nearly 10 grand, not quite 10 grand spent on this truck on all the years it was in service from 1967 to 2000. So quite the expenditure. Vastly exceeded the cost of the truck when it was new, which is kind of surprising. You know, kind of thinking back now, you buy a new car or something for 40 grand, and imagine spending like $200,000 on maintenance on the thing. That would be kind of what it would be like. But yeah, kind of surprising. So anyway, we got that done, and I'm going to now fill you guys in with my thoughts on what I'm going to do with the truck. The last episode, we talked about body swapping it, and I know a lot of people kind of didn't like that idea because they didn't want to take the truck apart, and they said don't part it out. And, you know, I don't really consider a body swap as parting it out. I guess some people may, but really you're using the good parts of one truck to make another one roadworthy. So when you're doing it with a two-wheel drive like this, like I've done in the past on this channel, you're taking a less valuable vehicle, so a two-wheel drive base model truck, and moving it to a four-wheel drive and increasing value of that two-wheel drive by making it nicer. But yeah, you are taking that other truck apart, so I get it. But you know, like I said in the other video, I got to do what makes sense for me and makes money. Because, well, I guess I could tell you, on the video I did on the 67 and bringing it home, we are like a week into that, maybe not quite a week. I've made $50 on that video. So definitely not enough to justify leaving that truck alone and, spending money on it just because it's cool. So, but all that being said, the more I was digging into that truck, the more rust issues the cab has that I wasn't really happy with, that I wouldn't really want to do on a frame-off restoration for that highboy. So the more that kind of piled up, there's some rust in the seams on the firewall, and then on the rocker on the side, and the inside of the rocker is kind of rotten out, so I'd want to replace all that. And the seam, the rust jacking on the seams is really bad. That's really hard to take care of because you have to cut a bunch out to get it and then redo that seam. And it's not like just putting floor pans in it or putting cab mounts in something. When you get the rust jacking in that seam where it's bubbling out, you got to replace both pieces to do it correctly. And I guess that leads me to the people that were complaining about me saying that truck is really rusty. I understand. I have trucks that are a lot rustier than that. I understand that they get worse than that. So whenever I'm saying like that's bad, I'm looking at it through the eyes of a full-blown restoration where you have to make everything perfect. And I don't like to. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right or not do it at all. So in something like that truck, the rust issues got it compiled more and more and more to where you'd be doing, it'd be better to find a truck with less rust on it, basically. So when I was saying like the bed is wasted from a standpoint of using it for a full-blown restoration, so that maybe that kind of helps you guys understand whenever I'm saying like, yeah, this bed's rusty, it's in the mindset of a full-blown restoration, because that's what I view every project as. Because if it doesn't get to a full-blown restoration, then I'm probably not going to be doing much rust repair. If it's something that's like this truck where it's not really significant other than the cab mount. The cab mount probably would want to do because it's eventually going to collapse and the cab's going to have issues. But everything else is just, it's non-structural, I guess. So anyway, that being said, let's go back out here to the truck, and we're going to talk about my plans with it if I ever get it done. But we're going to talk about it. All right, guys, we're out here with the truck, and we need to talk about my plans with it. Right now, it's still on the trailer because I'm going to haul it down to my house and put it in the shed and just kind of get it in some dry storage, because it's probably going to be a minute before I get on this truck, maybe summertime. I don't really know. I'm not going to put a date on it because we have all the other projects in the shop I have to clear out and get working on, along with my 67 crew cab. I've had some guys asking about that. The Forester service truck, we did a full drive conversion with a 7.3 Godzilla. I'm going to be working on that here in the fall, so that's going to be my main focus once I get the Bell service truck out of the shop. And this one's going to be kind of filler. Maybe when I get the crew cab to paint, I'll start working on this one. But my plans with this one, since we have the more rust issues than I want to deal with for doing a restoration on that 67 Highboy, I thought, well, let's leave it alone. And also all the awesome stuff I found between the receipts, the stuff in the cab, the camper with all the supplies in the back. It just kind of, I just couldn't take it apart. And I just thought it really needs to stay together. But leaving it a two-wheel drive, the amount of time and money I would spend getting this thing up and running again, it just didn't make sense to me leaving it two-wheel drive. So that means four-wheel drive swap. So kind of thinking about a four-wheel drive swap on this. We're going to leave the two-wheel drive frame so we can stay with that VIN. And I am thinking about doing a 3-link style with king coilovers like I did on my Ultimate Highboy. So that kind of build. I have a 3-link kit here that I'm not using on anything I need to use up. And I thought it would be awesome to put that under this truck, make it kind of like an off-road camper kind of a rig, you know, something you can take out in the bush, go camping in the mountains with it, and do some more advanced trails, because it'll have that capability with the 3-link and king coilovers and stuff, kind of like my 67 Highboy that I take in the mountains. I thought that would be a fun truck, and kind of just leave everything else alone. Maybe put a cab mount on it. But yeah, you don't have to worry about scratching it or denting it or getting mud in it and that kind of thing, because it's just kind of, it's just a cool old truck that's not perfect. So I thought it would be perfect for that kind of a build. You know, just do leaf springs in the back with a block, the 3-link up front, and a 6R80. Keep the 352, maybe put some fuel injection on it, but do a 6R80 behind it since it's already an automatic and the transmission's bad, we know that. So 6R80, Marry 205, just like I did on my 67 Highboy, Ultimate Highboy build. And I thought this would be a really cool, fun truck. And it's really going to clean up really nice because that paint on the outside's been done before. And I think it's just going to look really cool. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about that idea. Let me know if you change anything, do something different, maybe put a stroker FE in it, maybe do a different power plant altogether. Just let me know down in the comments what you guys think and what you think of that. And let me think about how much this guy spent, Mr. Green spent on this truck over the years, and how much he spent to keep it on the road. I think you really love this truck as much as he spent on it and how much work he put in it. He just didn't let it waste away and go into the ground. He always, anytime something was wrong with this thing, he was getting it taken care of. So really thankful for that, because we have a good base model truck to start with, a base to start with. And we're going to get going on this truck sometime. You're going to see it here on the channel. So give me a thumbs up if you like this truck. Subscribe if you want to see me build it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.